years ago, I managed to get my friend as hooked on Supernatural as I am, and we've been talking about a Supernatural tea for almost as long. Well, with the final season just about to premiere, it seemed like the right time to have our very own Supernatural afternoon tea. Supernatural and afternoon tea might not seem directly related. Sure, some of the characters from Over the Sea, they have tea every now and then, it's mentioned a couple times, but that's really about it. It's mostly the fact that we love the show and the characters, and we also happen to love afternoon tea, and I think we kind of just love the contrast between fancy tea and all these guys just running around killing monsters. Overall, it was a fairly simple affair. It was just the two of us, and we planned the whole thing in just a couple of days, but I think we managed to put together a pretty awesome little event. Since it was just the two of us, we kept the menu fairly simple with some of our go-to items. For sandwiches, we had radish and butter with a black sea salt garnish for that extra supernatural twist, as well as a classic cucumber and a little bit of egg salad on a cucumber slice. For scones, I made some of my own low-carb scones and used a really adorable little ghost cookie cutter because, of course, you need spooky scones for a supernatural tea. For dessert, we had sort of a miniature bite-sized blueberry pie, which was delicious, as well as what we dubbed a fallen angel cake, which was an angel food cake drizzled in chocolate with a chocolate-covered strawberry on top. We also had a small cheese course. And at the last minute, we added on an extra but awesome tea sandwich with some mini Melba toasts, a little bit of ricotta cheese, a little bit of manchego cheese, and some leftover blueberry pie filling. So good. It was impromptu, was not planned at all, just some stuff we had that was sitting around an extra, but delicious, and with the blueberry pie filling, it still seemed pretty on point for Dean. The timing works out really well because with Halloween coming, there's all kinds of really fun, sort of spooky things that you can get to set your table pretty cheaply. A couple years ago, I had found a very simple plain white teacup for like $1 somewhere, I don't even remember where, and I wasn't gonna get it because it was kind of plain, but my husband was like, you could make it pretty, and I'm like, good point. And I've sort of been holding on to it, waiting for the right reason to do something with it, and this seemed perfect. So I just took a black Sharpie and added on my own anti-possession symbol. For the table, we pretty much just used regular things we already had on hand. Sometimes it really doesn't take as much to get a theme across as you initially are afraid that it's going to. A simple black and white buffalo checked table runner, and a black candelabra that I've owned for years and mostly just use now as a Halloween decoration were perfect. And in that candelabra, I picked up from the dollar store these candles that were supposed to drip blood as they burned, and that just sounded amazing. For everything else, between the two of us, we just sort of pulled all of our more neutral items. Obviously, we didn't want a purple floral teacup and saucer, for instance, so we kept everything pretty strictly neutral. Black, white, maybe a little bit of silver accent here and there. The 3-tiered server and the miniature dessert server that I use all the time for my teas at home are both plain white with silver, so they were perfect. And I really loved being able to use my 3-bowl relish server because I loved the little bit of wood with the silver and the glass. It had that nice little sort of rustic hunter feel with that little bit of wood, but of course the silver always ties into all these supernatural elements, and I don't get to use that very often because I don't always have 3 different things that I need to serve when it's usually just tea for my husband and I, or like me and a friend, so it was nice to get to use that. I also used a couple of cheap black doilies to set the teapots on. Then finish the table off with teapots, sugar bowls, and creamers in black and white, or maybe some cut glass if you have them. One of our favorite things about having tea is that you don't necessarily have to have everything on the table match perfectly and be all from the same set. Having a little bit of mixy-matchy is a little bit more eclectic, but it's so nice because you can get a lot more different styles that are all beautiful and lovely and not have to be pigeonholed into all of one design. That sort of hodgepodge nature, I think in particular, ties in very well to Supernatural. Then we served ourselves 2 of our favorite black teas, because obviously. Then, as with any delightful afternoon tea, you're free to enjoy some delicious treats while sipping on wonderful tea and enjoying fabulous company. We thought that hosting Supernatural Tea was the perfect way to kick off the final season. I hope you did too and that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe down below. Drop me a comment about what you liked most about this fabulous and unique afternoon tea. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.